Hello, everyone. Welcome to this panel discussion. Today, we are going to discuss about SDG 3, that is good health and well-being. Our all panel discussions are part by All India Educators Forum. This is episode 2, season 4. I'm your host, Aarti Bagdi Gill, CBSE resource person and SDG 4 AIF Global Ambassador. I welcome all the viewers to this panel discussion. On today's board, our respected panelists are Dr. Parul Goyal, expert resource person, and Ma'am Pushpalata Thakur Chaudhary, AIF resource person. Welcome to this panel discussion, panelists. Our topic of discussion is SDG 3, that is promoting mental health and wellness among children. We are talking in basic about the health and wellness of the children before coming to the school, and gradually we will shift on after coming to the school. This is an overview of the discussion. We will talk about balanced diet and malnutrition today. In our previous episode, we had talked about early years growth, which is very important, that is the breastfeed. Gradually, we are taking a turn according to the age group of the children, and then finally, we will reach to the culmination. So now I want to give opportunity to our expert resource person, Dr. Parul Goyal, to talk about balanced diet. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. So, so I would like to talk about the balanced diet in children. When we talk about the balanced diet, it simply means providing a combination of all essential nutrients in the right proportion to support the growth and overall development of the child. Also, it is not just what we eat. Also, it is how much we eat and when we eat it. That is the right quantity and the right timing. So a balanced diet, it includes macronutrients and micronutrients. In the macronutrients, we have the carbohydrates, which are the major source of energy for the kids. That includes, like in daily diets, cereals, roti, rice, poha, dalia. Then in the protein, they are required for the growth and the repair in the children. So for that, we have dal, pulses, eggs, paneer. Then in the macronutrients, there are fats, which are good fats, which are required for the brain development. They are present in oils, ghee, nuts, seeds. So these macronutrients, they are generally better understood, and I think they are reasonably included in many households. Along with these, we have micronutrients, that is vitamins and minerals, which are no doubt required in smaller amounts, but they are absolutely critical for the overall well-being of the child. So in India, one of the major challenge is not just the undernutrition; it is also this micronutrient deficiency. That is the vitamins and minerals deficiency, which we call it as hidden hunger. So a child may be eating enough, but not necessarily eating right. So the most common deficiencies in this micronutrients, which we see in the children, is the iron deficiency, which is very common and leading to anemia, causing fatigue in the children and poor concentration. Then vitamin A deficiency is very common, which is affecting the vision and the immunity in the children. Then iodine deficiency, which is affecting the brain development. And these days, vitamin D and calcium deficiency is also very common due to less outdoor activities and less sun exposure. So, these deficiencies are very commonly seen in the children. So, to address these micronutrient deficiency, what we need is to improve the dietary diversity. What that means is that is including the variety of foods from the different food groups. So, like instead of giving the same food every day, we should include different cereals, different pulses, vegetables, fruits throughout the week. And also, with the diversity in the foods, also we should focus on the traditional foods and the local and seasonal foods rather than the expensive food package or fancy foods, which is very common these days. Not only the local foods and the seasonal foods, they are affordable, but they are also rich in the. So, like bajra and ragi, which can improve the iron and calcium intake in the children. In winters, we have sarson ka saag, bathua, spinach, which helps with the iron. Then in summer season, like now, we have mangoes, papayas, which also provides a lot of vitamins. Then also we can add small nutrient boosters in the diet, like adding ghee on the roti and in the sabzi of the kids. Then adding nuts with the milk we can give, seeds, adding seeds in the curd. Then instead of refined sugar, we can use jaggery. Then in the meals of the children, we can squeeze a little bit of lemon also. Lemon, it helps in the absorption of iron. So that is the very effective and cost effective thing which we can do. So basically, so a simple homemade meal like a roti, dal, sabzi, curd, along with a seasonal fruit, it can provide excellent balanced meal with a lot of food diversity. And we can on every day in the week we can just give the different kind of pulses, cereals, which can provide a more of diversity. So this was all about the food choices. So which we should be having like in the thali in a balanced meal thali which we should have. Then developing healthy habits is also very important for the healthy habits. What we can do is we should encourage the child to have a regular meal timings. When it gets irregular, they tend to eat more of junk, more of packaged foods. So we need to reduce these foods, junk food, packaged food, especially that sweets, basically more of sugary foods. They just increase the blood sugar levels immediately, and they do not provide any kind of sustained energy. And then we can offer the variety to the child in different forms, and but we should not force the child. Then we can make the sorry, meals colorful and interesting. Then most important, the child learns from what they see. So the family habits, they do matter. Whatever family is eating, the child will see that. So that should be inculcated from the very beginning. When the child is small, that from that time only the family should be eating together, and whatever they are eating, the child will again start doing that only. So to conclude, the balanced diet is not about the expensive or fancy food. It's about the right combination of the simple foods, local food, and the seasonal foods. Thank you.
Well said, ma'am. Thank you so much, Dr. Parul, for sharing in very simple language about this balanced diet. Can you please help me with certain quick tips for working mothers, basically, those who are watching? Uh, what quick tips you feel that you can give to the working mothers?
For the working mothers, like basically that is only thing. Like we should reduce the junk and the packaged food first of the thing. And also our habits should be good, like the family habits should be good, so that the child also follows the same thing. Like we should also not be like eating very fast quickly and then in the rush of going to the office. And we should also take time, eat well, and eat good food rather than those packaged food, so that child can also follow that. Secondly, we can use like simple foods, like just seasonal foods, and we can use those foods, local foods, and eggs. They are quickly available, and quickly you can just cook them and give to the child. They are very good for the development. Then small things like ghee, and then seeds we can add, which is easily available. We don't have to cook it and do it. Like we can just put seeds in the curd. We can give all almonds and walnuts to the child, which again helps with their brain development. Then normal food like roti, dal, sabzi, that is enough for the child. And whatever we are eating, we need not to make like different kind of foods for the child. Whatever we are eating, just give same to the child.
Doctor, one more question I want to raise, that parents are making children more prone towards the sugary intake, right? So as per CBSE as well, we are keeping a check of sugar intake. So what all will be the consequences? Can you please alert the viewers, the mothers who are watching, that this is not the call? The teachers even in the classroom may check, and they may give the call to the parent that sugar intake in too much quantity is not to be, is not desired to be given in the lunch box. Yes.
Sugary foods, they do provide immediate energy to the child. They do give the carbs component to the child, but that is immediate effect that raises the sugar levels immediately in the body. That is not a sustained energy. That doesn't give a sustained release of energy to the child, not the sustained release of sugar to the child. Sugar, basically the glucose which the body requires, it is not being given in a sustained form. So these things can lead to later on weight gain, obesity, then diabetes, a lot of problems in the child. So it's better to decrease its intake. And whenever you need to give the sugar, you can just replace it with the jaggery or honey. Those are more natural sources. It is a processed sugar, which is again not in a good processing of everything, processed, any food, processed food. It is not good for the child. It's better to give natural forms.
Yes. So it is good to go for the natural forms rather than the packed food and the forms which are not giving you sustained energy. Thank you so much, Dr. Parul, for sharing the information related to balanced diet in very simple language. I believe we all are connecting. And now we are going to take a turn in the session with malnutrition. With this, I'm going to invite our next panelist, Ma'am Pushpalata, to put some light on it. Yes, ma'am.
Hello, everyone. So, malnutrition, as ma'am has already said, that it is a condition in which the body does not get the required nutrition and the required nutrients. So, what is actually leads is into these three conditions which you can see in front of you. And I would also like to give the statistics before I begin, that if we talk about malnutrition only in India, there are more than 35% of children under 5 who are stunted, 19% are wasted, and 32% are underweight. So, let me explain what these terms actually mean. When we talk about stunting, it is also a type of nutrition where the child has got low height for his age. And as I said, 33% of children under age of 5 are affected by it. Then the other malnutrition state is wasting, where you can see the child is too thin for his height. The child grows in height but does not uh, grow in girth. And so this is affecting around 19% of our children under age of 5. And then we have underweight children. It is a combination of both stunting and wasting. So it is, and usually it is prevalent in the rural and poor households where children are not getting proper nutrition. And then ma'am has also talked, then obesity, we already know that due to all these junk food, like ma'am has already said, that there is a rising obesity where children are overweight and still and and the nutrition, it is under nutrition but they are overweight. And so here they are challenging obesity here. And there is also what we call as hidden hunger. Ma'am has already explained what hidden hunger is. It's like the micronutrient deficiencies. We all know that our nutrition should include both macronutrients and micronutrients, and micronutrients are required in smaller amounts, but they are very important for the functioning of our body. So I would also, and there are these two types of you can see that there are these two types of diseases which you can see which are related to malnutrition. And we these are seen in the third world countries on a very large scale. What you can see here is marasmus and kwashiorkor. So as marasmus, it is both, they are the cases of acute malnutrition. So what happens in case of malnutrition is a severe deficiency of calories and protein. So marasmus also can be called as missing all calories. So it comes from there. So where you can see that all the calories are missing for the child. So what happens is here there is no fat under the skin. So you can see the child, there is no muscle mass, etc. And the face look wizened, it looks more like a monkey, and there is no swelling anywhere. So common ages are around 2 years old. The child, looks like this. And then there is the other kind where it is called kwashiorkor, where the child looks bloated, especially the abdomen area, which you can see there's a bulging abdomen. And this is called due to severe protein deficiency. So it's carbs, or it's, the body has only carbs, and there is a calorie law, there is a protein less in the body of these children. And there is swelling in feet, legs, face, and there is a complete puffy look to the children. So this is what, then you see flaky skin, cracked skin in these children. And largely malnutrition includes, there is a loss of, the child is not energetic at all, not able to do anything, and they also get mentally retarded over a period of time. So, what actually malnutrition covers, as you can see on the second one, is where the children are underweight, where we get obesity, where we have wasting, when we children are facing undernutrition, micronutrient deficiencies, and insufficiencies. So, what I would also like to say is, what are the root causes of these? Is like poverty, inequality. Even there is a lot of gender disparity, where we see that in people who are poor, they like to feed their boys rather than girls, better food. So here the children, this we see a lot of malnutrition in the child there. Also, healthcare gaps are also there. There are a lot of poor sanitation, and limited maternal care, and inadequate immunization. When all this occurs, that the children are open to infections, which also leads to malnutrition. And I would also like to say that the first 1,000 years of 1,000 days of a child, from the conception to the, for 2 years, all the first 1,000 days are very important in a child's life. And when we see these things, when the child suffers from malnutrition, they end up having, being unfit for the society. And they even a mother who's malnutrition will pass on the malnutrition to the child. And we always, our government is trying to, bridge these gaps, bring our Anganwadi, and also our any other NGO initiatives to the people in the poor areas, provide them food, provide them meals, carry home meals, so that these people can be treated and malnutrition can be brought down, because it has a lot of economic impact on the country. Also, it is a health burden for the society. And also, in the later parts, it affects our GDP of a nation, because all these people who are malnutrition, later on in the society, they become a misfit, and they are not able to, contribute to the success of a nation. So, which is very important. Otherwise, I would also like to add what we are doing in our schools. I would also, before, as we are watching at these photographs in front of us about these children who are suffering from marasmus and kwashiorkor, it comes under the, SDG 2, zero hunger, where we are trying to combat these things and overcome these things. So we want to reduce the overall impact of malnutrition on our society. Our governments are doing a lot where these things are concerned. And to reduce malnutrition, we are, having integrated plans like ICDS, Integrated Child Development Services, Poshan Abhiyan, where we are giving, focusing on children. Children have a lot of anemia also. So we are trying to focus and overcome these malnutrition factors. We have public distribution system, where we are subsidizing food and grains to people at low costs. And also trying to take care of health and sanitation of places, especially people who are living in slums, etc. And we are trying to provide clean water and sanitation. That's why we see that Swachh Bharat is such a big campaign for us, because it also underlies a big part of our nutrition drive. And we have to, there is a, digital monitoring, where we are monitoring and digitally tracking. And going back to our schools, what we are doing in our schools actually right now, to combat malnutrition, like I have already talked about Anganwadis being a very large part in remote areas and villages, where they have people who have been trained to the level where they can, they are given modern facilities, and they are given things with which they can, measure the child, measure their height, weight very regularly, and give them the proper nutrition which is required. As we are talking about, there is this midday meal enhancement in schools. We are doing tiffin monitoring these days. We are also trying to promote kitchen gardens in our school. We are trying to make people, children, give them little patches of areas of land and telling them grow your seeds here, fruits here, so that the children are connected to the earth and they are able to understand the importance of what is coming through these things. Then also we are having, unplug and play, with the days we are promoting children to, eat local variety of fruit, vegetables, and also keep pulling children away from, eating junk food, so that they don't revert to eating all junk in school. Also, there is a biannual deworming in all schools, which is very important, because deworming is, like ma'am said, that even our iron and contained vitamin D absorption is, hampered when we children are suffering from worms. So this is a very big. We recently had deworming in our school, and I think that's a really good thing. And even the parents are understanding the, long term impact of these things. And as we move on, we can see that, we are also calling our parents for workshops, and where we are educating them and telling them, because as ma'am said, like you had asked a question to ma'am, that working parents, how can they balance the diet for their children? And it becomes very easy for them to give them pastas and, fast foods which are not very healthy, without putting vegetables and things. So we also give parents workshops where we are teaching them, encouraging them to add vegetables to the children, this thing. We also have culinary, which is introduced into our schools these days, where we teach our children to cut, chop, make sandwich and things like that, where they are getting connected to foods, and where they know that yes, this is interesting. And some interesting things happen, that children start eating whole vegetables and things like that, which they would otherwise not eat in their home settings. So I think all these are very important. And we also, we are celebrating hand wash day these days in our schools. The hygiene day, hand wash day, world health day, all these things are getting very, very, importance in our schools, in our activities, in our assemblies, where children are taught about these things, the importance of being healthy, hygienic, sanitation, wearing clean clothes, keeping your surroundings tidy. All these are a large part of, being reducing malnutrition in our this thing. So in the end, I would just like to say that this crisis is just not, malnutrition is just not about hunger. It is, the systemic inequities which occur in our society, and they occur due to various reasons, like poverty and gender disparity and food systems and healthcare gaps, education gaps. So all these, when we get everything aligned together, we can overcome. And malnutrition can be a thing of the past, and we can raise a healthy society and our economic growth, and we can have good citizens in the end.
Well
Thank
said,
you, ma'am.
ma'am. Yes. So naturally, we are looking forward for these children who are suffering from malnutrition, who are not getting balanced diet. Maybe the counseling part or whatever we are discussing will knock a door and will give you an opportunity to think toward this direction, and will give a proper balanced diet to the children, so that when they join the school, when they go grow up, and when they reach to those turning ages where they sincerely need a good diet to raise in their life, will provide that. So, with this, we are coming towards the end of this discussion. Thank you so much to both the panelists for sharing important pointers. And you may share your queries at abcteaching875 at gmail.com. You may mark your attendance, and you can check the certificate generation link in the comment section. So thank you so much to all the viewers who are watching. Keep on watching our previous episodes as well, and we will be bringing something new in our upcoming episodes too. Till then, bye bye and take care.